Hey guys, I wanted to get on here and share my prophetic dream that I mentioned in my testimony that played out very similar to the night that Prophet Mike prophesied to me and helped me get delivered from the sorority I was a part of. And it played out very similar the way that the night had transpired. Very, very similar. In the dream, I'm on the campus of TSU. I've never been on the campus of TSU. I'm not sure why, but I knew that I was on the campus of TSU. And it was a probate. It was a DST probate. It wasn't an AKA probate. And in the probate, it was like a presentation of some sort. It probably didn't have to be a probate, but in the dream, DST is on stage. Everybody's watching them do their thing, and then on the stage there was one person that stood out. Like, everyone's wearing red except for one girl. She's wearing yellow. She's standing out from the rest of them. And in the dream, everybody's watching them, and then all of a sudden the attention goes to someone in the crowd. I automatically knew who it was. It was Prophet Lovey, actually, in the dream. This was when I first was introduced to him. This is also around the first time, not the first time, this is also around the time where I rededicated my life to Christ, and I repented for all my new age thinking and practices, and I wanted God to cleanse me of all things that was not of him. And so I didn't understand what this dream meant at the time, but now 2 years later, fast forward, I understand. So in the dream, everybody's turning their attention to the crowd. There's a celebrity of some sort, and of course I automatically knew that it was Prophet Lovey. And here I am, I'm in the dream, and it was like I'm the woman in the Bible with the issue of blood, and I'm like, all I need to do is touch him and he'll heal me. All I need to do is just touch him. I just need to be touched. And I'm making my way through the crowd, pushing people out the way, and in the dream I reach to grab him, and he automatically turns and he grabs me before I even touch him. Before I touch him, he grabs my hand and he says my name. Like, out of everybody in the crowd, he says my name. And he looks at me, and he knew exactly what I wanted to be healed from. Like, it was like I knew in that moment that he knew what I needed to be healed from. And he said, "It is well." He looked at me, and he said my name. He said, "Elisha." And it's Elisha. It is well. And he turns to leave, and he gets in the van, in a car. And there was a woman with him. She was of some type of relation to me, and I could tell, but I couldn't recognize who she was, or I couldn't connect her to anyone in my waking life, but she was family to me. And she's getting in the car with this prophet. And it's a van. It's a black van. And she looks at me, and she looked as they're getting in this van, and she says, "Are you coming?" Now, there were things in this dream. So this dream went straight into another dream, and the other dream had one of my supposed line sisters in the dream. And looking back at it, it makes so much more sense now, but I didn't understand it at the time. I won't share that part because I don't think that it's relevant to the testimony. That's only relevant to me. But now, at the time, I did have an understanding of some dream interpretation. I knew that cards was a representation of your destiny, since they get you from your destination, they get you from point A to point B. So I knew the dreams were a representation of your destiny, and so I wondered what it meant. Like, Lord, of course I'll follow you. And I also knew that Prophet Lovey had said in a sermon at one point, where he was saying, if you ever see me in a dream, just know I represent God. It's not me in the dream. Like he said, I'm a reflection of Christ. So that is what it represents. And so I'm like, God, are you saying that you want me to follow you? I've already rededicated my life to you. What more do you want? I didn't understand. I mean, looking back at it now, hindsight is 2020, obviously. Looking back at it now, I knew that he wanted me to denounce, even though I wasn't a part of DST. And what ended up being even more uncanny was that the very next day, ironically, Prophet Lovey is teaching on his whole spiel the next day, which was a Sunday, was on the woman with the issue of blood. And ironically, in the crowd, when he's walking through, there's a woman being afflicted. Well, she was in witchcraft, and she tries to she touches him and gets healed, just like the woman of the issue of blood. And I thought that was uncanny. Like, how did I just have this dream last night, and I wake up and Prophet Lovi is teaching on the same exact thing, and then the same exact thing transpired on the screen that I'm watching? I was just blown. And so I'm gonna give you guys an exact date. If I didn't already post it, like, I had the dream on a specific date, I'll post it. And it was just uncanny. Like, how? So of course, I'm just like, what does this mean? Like, I didn't understand at the time. Fast forward, if you were there with Prophet Namite, you know that he spoke on the woman with the issue of blood. But his specific one was more like my dream, because he talked about how you got to stand out and do something different from everyone else. Everyone in the crowd with Jesus everyone wanted to see him, but this specific woman, her faith was different from anyone in that crowd. There was plenty of people touching him, but when this woman touched him, she stood out. She was different because her faith was strong. And that was when I knew, like, God was talking to me tonight. I was gonna leave with something. I knew then. And to top it all off, guys, like, mind you, my phone is in my pocket. I'm in the spirit. I'm not paying any attention to my phone. But the person that is sitting in front of me, their phone lights up for whatever reason. And at that time, I look down and it is 11:11. If there wasn't already enough confirmation that he was talking to me that night, that was it. And so when the prophet then turned around and he said, I'm seeing a woman and a child, and this child died. And specifically that I knew that he was talking to me is because I'm always telling people I did not have a miscarriage. My baby was alive and breathing when she came out of me. It was actually very traumatic watching her take her last breath. So when I'm always telling people I did not miscarriage, I've even had to correct one of my supposed line sister's mother. She's like, oh yeah, I heard you miscarriage. Whoa, no, I didn't. And why would you even say it so casually? Again, that was a red flag. So yeah, I was always correcting people, like, no, I did not miscarriage. And so for him to specifically say, and it was not a miscarriage, ooh, I knew he was talking to me. That's when I fell out on the floor. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep you guys too much longer. Here are some scriptures that I really want everyone to look up. They were given to me by a random elderly woman that walked into my job, and the place that I work, if you know, I'm not gonna say, but a lot of mental people walk in there, but I know that God can use anyone to speak to you. So this is a part of the testimony, but I won't speak too much on it today. Maybe I'll get on here and share it another time. But this random lady gave me these scriptures the same day that I posted my original testimony, and this was before I even got to record the video. So she gave me these scriptures, and she gave me Deuteronomy 28, Deuteronomy 8, Psalms 112. Well, she said Psalms 112 first, so Psalms 112 was first. Deuteronomy 8, she actually told me 28, and I accidentally came across 8, so I knew God wanted me to see 8. So Deuteronomy 8, Deuteronomy 28, and Exodus 20. Exodus 20 is specifically the 10 Commandments, where the very first thing says, thou shalt not make any other image before me, an idol before me. And I'm like, wow, this lady don't know me from a can of paint. But yeah, if you guys have not denounced yet, please take it to God in prayer and ask him for wisdom on this topic, because yeah, it's very important. You don't want to be left behind.